Hello and welcome to Systems Wise, the show that helps business owners and teams to solve their big sales, marketing, and systems challenges one episode at a time. You can watch the video version of this episode at getsystemswise.com. I'm Gareth Everson and welcome to the Systems Wise podcast. Thank you for listening. On today's episode, I'm going to be introducing a new mini-series that we're going to be covering over the next few weeks. And we're going to be talking about landing pages and what they can do for your business, the benefits that they can bring for you, and some of the questions that we all have when we first learn about this topic. How do we understand what they are, what they do, what are some of the common mistakes that people can make? Are we using them in the right place? All of that kind of thing. So in today's intro episode, I want to give you some inspiration for how you can think more widely, perhaps, or even more focused on how you can make the most from landing pages in your business. So let's get into it. I think the first place to start is to define what we mean by a landing page. Before we sort of talk about what the different types are, let's get clear on the difference between a landing page and a regular page on your website. There's also a term that's bandied around quite a lot these days of funnels. So what's the difference between a landing page and a funnel? Let's do that first, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you need to think about or some of the inspiration that you might have around how you can better use landing pages in your business. So the key purpose of a landing page is to drive a really specific action from a visitor to your site to do something. One clear call to action of what you want them to do. So we're thinking it needs to be uncluttered. It needs to be focused on that specific thing that you want them to do, whether it's signing up for something, downloading something, making a purchase, registering their interest, signing up to a waiting list, all things like that. It's one key action that we want them to take without any distraction. One key action without the distraction. So unlike a regular web page where when somebody is on there, it might be a blog page or your homepage or something like that, where somebody will then be taking different actions and be given different navigational elements on your website. A landing page doesn't have what we'd call those distractions there. What we want them to do is just move towards that single call to action that you have. Where would we use landing pages? They're typically used around some sort of initiative, some sort of marketing campaign, or some sort of activity that you're involved with where you want to capture that interest and those details of that visitor that's coming to your website. And just the name alone, a landing page, gives you an indication into what it's about. It's usually somebody coming onto your site, probably for the first time. They might have heard of you already. They might have seen you around the internet or on socials already, but this is their first main interaction with you. That's the core of what a landing page is. It can be used to generate further interest further down the line of people who already know you and are coming back for something and perhaps registering for something different. But the core purpose of a landing page is to capture somebody who isn't already in your world into your world by them raising their hand, if you like, for something that you're willing to either give away or they're registering their interest for or something like that. So that's the difference between a landing page and a regular page on your website. Let's think about this other word that people use at the moment, and it's the funnel. People talk about marketing funnels or sales funnels. A funnel is a multi-stage interaction with you. So somebody comes to your site or comes to one of your profiles and they see something and they're drawn into something. That first page is the landing page. But the difference between a landing page and what turns into a funnel is then what happens afterwards. A funnel is a multi-step series of actions that you want somebody to take or that you offer somebody to take to interact with you. So it might be an opt-in to something, and then the thank you page offers them something else, or a entry-level service, or perhaps to book an appointment with you, depending on the stage that they're at in their relationship with you, whether top of funnel, middle of funnel, or bottom of funnel. But the key difference is that a funnel has multiple steps. A landing page will typically just either have a thank you message on the page itself so they don't move away from that page, or more likely, once they've given you their details, you'll redirect them to the place where they get that resource, a thank you page, that kind of thing. So it's a subtle difference, but a meaningful one. They're kind of interrelated, but a landing page with its thank you page is a little bit simpler than thinking about a whole funnel process. This topic is confused quite a lot by the software industry. You will see software products advertised online that talk about being either landing page builders or funnel builders or this or that or the other. There are some popular names like lead pages or ClickFunnels that talk about themselves in those different ways. I think what you look for when you are looking at software is something that has the ability to be able to build both mobile responsive and quick to load pages that have that multi-step functionality. Whether that's a dedicated product in its own right, like High Level or ClickFunnels or lead pages or Score App I'll talk about on this series, or specific themes for a website. You'll see in theme builders increasingly this landing page builder or funnel builder capability coming in. Although I have to say that many of the popular web builders in WordPress don't seem to be that on board with building out funnels that are measurable and trackable and all of that kind of stuff. We'll talk about the tracking and the measurement and the testing of those landing pages and those funnels in this series. So what are you going to get out of this series? We're going to do a number of things. We're going to be talking about the key components of what goes into a landing page. I'm going to be talking about common mistakes that people make. We're going to be talking about what happens after they've opted in. We're going to have a reminder of what we do by way of education. If you remember the E step, the first E step of Lemonade, which is education, we're going to have a little bit of a recap around that. I'm also going to be talking about what happens if they don't opt in when they come to your landing page. What can we do there? I'm going to be sharing some little takeaways around how you can develop inspiration of what to think about and the layouts to have for your landing pages. And I'm going to encourage you to start collecting what we call in copywriting a swipe file of good resources, good landing pages that you see that provide you with inspiration because you have connected with what's on there, or you can connect with how they are using their messaging and their layout to their audience. So thinking about having a swipe file. We're also going to be talking about split testing landing pages. So always having this focus on making sure that we're able to get the best possible results that we're able to from landing pages that we have. And split testing is all about having a version that you are testing different components against and seeing which version wins in a controlled test. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking about the different types of landing pages that there are. And I'm going to be taking you through what the different types are that you have on your site, pages that you have. And also, I'm going to be talking about other types of landing pages that maybe aren't on your site. So stay tuned for that topic. I'm going to be covering that in the next episode. On the topic of landing pages or funnels, if there's anything that I haven't introduced by way of this introductory episode that's been on your mind about how you capture leads on your website, landing pages or funnels, then do let me know. The best way to get in contact with me is to go to askgareth.com. That short URL will take you directly to my LinkedIn profile. And my direct messages, my DMs are open on there. So let's start a conversation there and make sure that there aren't any stones that are left unturned in your knowledge about landing pages, funnels, and capturing the interest of people that are in your world who come to your website or that you want to come to your website and opt in. So let's do that. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Systems Wise podcast. Remember that what we learn today builds more value if there's a plan to take action on it tomorrow. So head to getsystemswise.com and check out all the resources and training on the software and systems that you need to build a scalable business without breaking the bank. And if you value the show, please help others to discover it too by leaving us a review wherever you get your podcasts, or by sharing a link to an episode on LinkedIn or wherever your finger does its scrolling.